The St. Louis Post-Dispatch published this article a couple of days ago, or I guess the other day. I've had this pulled up for a hot minute here. This is from September 8th, so just yesterday. I want to showcase this article, and then I want to kind of discuss basically some of my feelings about the difference between what we've seen online and what the reality of it is. Realpolitik, if you will. Some folks just need to touch grass, and I'm not talking about the usual folks that I am usually talking about who need to touch grass. All of us, you and me, we need to touch fucking grass. In the primaries this year, I had seen, okay, tell me if I'm wrong, but I saw on Twitter a massive push toward populist candidate in the Senate race, Missouri Senate race. Massive push online for populist candidate Spencer Toder, which was not reflected in what I'd seen from other indie media sources who were vying for Lucas Kunce, and then ultimately on primary election day, the votes tallied in at Trudy Bush Valentine as the winner of the Democratic primary. I wouldn't have guessed. I would not have guessed. I just simply would not have guessed that she would have taken the nomination, and solely based on what I saw on social media. That being said, I think there's a lot to learn there as far as what we're seeing online and what we can expect when it comes to the real world. I had a pretty long conversation with Missouri Senate candidate John Keeney, who's running for Senate District 26 here in the state of Missouri. Had a pretty long discussion with him on primary nights with that regard, the difference and the contrast between what we can see online versus what folks actually do when they hit the polls. Could be night and day, and honestly, I was shocked and blown away by the results ultimately. And that's not to throw shade at at TBV. 100% when the day comes. I mean, she's definitely got my vote. Keeping it 100 here, but I just based on, like I say, what I saw online, I would not have expected it, and based on what I'd heard from other Indian media sources, I would not have expected a TBV victory. That being said, though, and I did want to kind of include this, so I guess I get to be the first one to announce, and this will be the first place to announce. So since neither one of these shows has aired yet, or any of these shows have aired yet, I get to be the first one to announce that actually John Keeney, musician and sound engineer, as well as Missouri Senate candidate from District 26, is going to be announcing and launching his own podcast. Super stoked about that. That's going to be the Big Blue Unicorn podcast. You can find that at bigblueunicorn.com. So Big Blue Unicorn, that's one word. Of course, he's going to be, I assume, going to be available where all your podcasts are found, but also he's putting it in YouTube format, so video format for you. You can find him on YouTube, Facebook. I believe he's got setting up for an Instagram. Of course, be tweeting out on Twitter. We're all tweeting out on Twitter, but also on TikTok. So check that out. Bigblueunicorn.com for the podcast. It should be super exciting. I'm very interested to see what he has to say. The guy's pretty well on point and a great speaker, great public speaker. But we had a conversation actually during his Zoom watch party, and I broadcasted that on this channel here for this show about some of the results. And like I said, we had an in-depth conversation about the difference, and it was shocking. And I want to highlight that just a little bit, but I want to just jump right into this. So this came up from St. Louis Post-Dispatch just the other day. Democrats mine Missouri Attorney General's office for information on Hawley. And you'll see where I'm going with this in just a second. So Jefferson City, National Democrats have inundated the Missouri Attorney General's office with sunshine law requests this year. But they're not looking for information on Eric Schmidt, the current Attorney General running for U.S. Senate. The DNC wants documents dating to U.S. Senator Josh Hawley's 2 years as Missouri's Attorney General, according to records obtained by the Post-Dispatch. The 89 separate open records requests since March from the DNC show Democrats are actively looking for information potentially damaging to Hawley as he possibly prepares for a presidential run in 2024. A lack of sunshine requests from the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee regarding Schmidt this year also signals that Democrats haven't considered the contest between the Attorney General and Democrat Trudy Bush Valentine competitive. Which, again, keep in mind, though, what we see in the real world, folks, is sometimes not what we see in the Twitterverse. So the work still needs to be done out there. There is still plenty to go around. Asked about the records request, a spokesman for the DNC referenced the famous picture of Hawley saluting Trump supporters at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. He also mentioned a video released of Hawley running away from those same rioters as they flooded the Capitol. And of course, we've got the big 5K here in Missouri now, thanks to that pile of treasonous garbage that we call a senator. It shouldn't come as a surprise. We're vetting someone who saluted those who attacked the Capitol before they assaulted police officers and tried to overturn an election, said Amara Musa, spokesman for the DNC. Thankfully, the video of Hawley running for his life is already public record. The majority of the Sunshine Law requests by the DNC seek information that was requested during Hawley's 2 years in office from 2017 to 2019. It's sad, said Kyle Plotkin, spokesman for Hawley. Democrats have tried and failed over and over to beat Josh. Now they're going to drum up the same old false attacks that ended with Josh being sworn into the Senate. And the Trumpers are going to buy this shit. I'm just saying. There's no need to act like they're not. There's no need to act like we can't count on their utter stupidity and their utter cult mentality. On March 10th, the Missouri Attorney General's office received 18 requests from a DNC staffer. The requests asked for information such as records of workplace misconduct against Hawley, records of funds spent to renovate office space, copies of Hawley's credit card statements, text messages, cell phone bills for Hawley and top aides Daniel Hartman and Evan Roselle. Records show officials didn't find any records of complaints against Hawley, while the office hadn't produced records in response to the 3 other requests. The DNC in March also asked for records of other sunshine requests filed during Hawley's tenure as Attorney General. The Attorney General's office produced records in response to that request, and on August 2nd, the DNC sent a wave of 71 additional sunshine law requests to the Attorney General's office. The vast majority of these requests asked for information in response to sunshine requests that as others have filed, those requests were pending. So, like I say, it's, when they say the other race isn't competitive, I wouldn't count on that. It seems that Eric Schmidt's attack ads are getting desperate and more desperate by the day. But this should be interesting. Keep your eyes peeled for this, and honestly, as we move forward, to November, keep your eyes peeled on the Schmidt TBV race as well. Not just that, but tons of races across the state. I mean, here's the thing, folks. We've got a real chance to flip Missouri blue, and make some real changes around here. The folks haven't had a chance. They haven't had a choice in 2 decades now. It's about time we see something here in Missouri and a good push for rationality and reason. I mean, it seems cliche, and I heard another person in indie media mention this the other day. It always sounds cliche when they talk about democracy is what's at stake this election season. The essence of democracy is at stake this year. What? No, for real. It's very much not cliche this time. The essence of democracy is real. In what is it? The vast majority of election races, especially at the local level, the Republican candidate, for the most part, is going to be some sort of a conspiracy theorist, or insurrectionist, or insurrection supporter, or the these folks who still think that Trump won the election, cult mentality at its finest, and there is a choice, and we've just got to make sure that the work gets done. And I'm not talking about the same bullshit work that other so-called community leaders talk about. I mean, any work, anything. Performative activism at this point is absolutely fucking crucial. We have 2 months until the election. Get out there and shake your fucking fists if it makes you feel better, because someone else is going to see that, and it may bring the confidence out. I had actually tweeted about this, and it was several hours later, literally an entire day later. So the message was completely missed by what had actually happened. But quite literally, I was woken up at 3 a.m. To my domestic partner. Had I referred to it as she had Eleanor Roosevelted me. She literally woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and was like, how come I we don't have more folks down here in southern Missouri? How come I'm not seeing more signs for folks here in southern Missouri? And I said to her, well, it's a very red area. It's always been a very red area. It's a very conservative area. I don't think I have to mention, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go ahead and mention it. So, I mean, southern Missouri is the place where a trans 18-year-old girl, was basically gutted, chopped up, lit on fire. And then the prosecutors did not, were not able to, or did not in their infinite wisdom decide it was a good idea to press for charges, being a hate crime, for the people that they were able to convict, for the murder. It's that kind of a place. It's that kind of a vibe. I live here. I went to school here. I don't think there's much else that needs to be said with that regard. So if you're wondering why you're not seeing a lot of signs for candidates on blue team, that's probably why. But at the same time, this is why she woke me up at 3 a.m. telling me what the fuck is going on here, guy. This shit affects me. It affects me personally. She said something along the lines of, it's crunch time. This stuff literally affects me personally. When I want to see more candidates, in my area, shaking hands with folk and speaking with things, and especially, not to call out TBV, but Trudy Bush Valentine. I mean, a lot of folks down here, know the name, they know the brand. Come on, would love to see TBV in southern Missouri, but that was her response, and it was shaking to me. It was absolutely shaking, because while this shit pisses me off, and I can intersect with that being a minority, and having friends in the queer community who are depending on this, I can't relate to it in a way that she can, despite the fact that my domestic partner is a white woman. I can't relate to it in a way that she can. It's utterly out of my scope and my personal grasp to be affected directly in the same way that she is. And so, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that seeing the people and knowing that they do have a choice, and that there is an option out there, even in good old red fucking southern, Missouri, dead center, the fucking Ozarks, the heart of the culture. Just knowing that there is another option, and that the Trump cult hasn't completely taken over, not just the people here, but I mean, like we say, we're candidates that I've spoken with who tell me that hey, we're not expecting a whole lot of help from the DNC. Some aren't expecting a lot or any assistance from the state party. As well, and that's completely understandable, because they do have their hands tied, and I understand that there's a finite amount of resources, but at the same time, I think, well, it's up to the volunteers, it's up to folks like you and me, and yeah, I'm just some guy sitting in a fucking room screaming at a fucking TV for over half my day, and you know, typing out mean tweets to folks. But you know, maybe there's something more that you can be out there doing. Maybe there's something that you could be doing to help organize or help you know, advocate in your community. So something to keep in mind. Anyway, get on social media, reach out to the candidates in your area. I mean, jump on Ballotpedia. That shit's free. You know, don't fuck around with it. That shit is 100% free. If you don't know, find out who it is who's running for what in your area. Call somebody. Fuck, call me. I'll look the shit up for you. You know, reach out to me on Discord. I'll put you in. We're I think I already have the so you can reach out you know, to me and the team at chainsaw, what is it, chainsawccc.com/discord. And if I think I set the link up. If I haven't set the link up, I'll set it up by the time I set this video for upload. Reach out to us at chainsawccc.com/discord, and you know, let's start fucking doing this. You know, we don't have a whole lot of time, and it's real. We aren't getting a whole lot of help from, you know, from folks who either can't or won't help us out here. And look, it is what it is, folks. We're all in this, you know, together. Whether all in this together or we're not. So anyway, well, that's what I got for you there. Stick around. We're gonna take a short break, jump right back into it.